people have powerful feelings about the traffic in Los Angeles. It says something that local officials warned motorists about a temporary roadwork closure on the 405 last year by calling it Carmageddon. Angelenos took the hint, and this weekend they're expected to steer clear of the latest 405 closure, named, of course, Carmageddon 2. That's how it is in L.A., a snarl of overstuffed freeways and commuters who keep their cool, except when they don't. KPCC's Stephen Cuevas has this profile of a punk rocker whose music expresses the insanity of L.A. traffic while extolling the virtues of public transit.
Couple of things you need to know about Eddie Solis. He lives in L.A., loves the band Kiss, and does not own a car.
Being someone who's from L.A., born and raised, and, having a few cars in my past, I saw the city much differently, through a different perspective, through the eyes of a bus rider.
Want to just go all the way to the back? Sure.
Line 18, Wilshire, Western Station.
Just steps from the front door of his home, across the street from a tortilla factory in LA's Boyle Heights neighborhood, Solis catches a bus that connects him with the city's subway and the commuter train he catches to his day job at an indie record label in Hollywood.
It just opened me up to little neighborhoods, galleries, clubs, bars, just everything. Just seeing what's out there, little pockets of the city.
Solis's journeys aboard LA buses and subway cars informs a lot of the material on The New Los Angeles Part 1, Through the Eyes of a Bus Rider, the latest release by the singer-guitarist band It's Casual. In Solis's vision of a new Los Angeles, people abandon their cars, climb aboard public transit, and rediscover their communities. One song extols the virtues of the LA County Metropolitan Transit Agency's Easy Pass and the urban underbelly it introduces to the rider.
And that's a nod and homage to, the people who know what you could even go cheaper and really beat the system and really steer away from spending money on gas and oil profits and all that. Is all it takes for me to witness racial tension, for me to witness illegal aliens. It's not to paint a negative picture, it's just my perspective of what is seen.
Off the bus and back on the street, we make our way past a jazz saxophonist playing for pocket change and down a long escalator to catch a train.
So, where are we now?
We're at the Red Line station, the Pershing Square station in downtown LA.
And what's our destination?
We're going to go downstairs another tier, and in about 5 minutes we're going to get on the Red Line going northbound.
Okay, let's go.
The Metro Red Line snakes from North Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles. It's the train that inspired It's Casual's signature tune and spawned a viral internet video. It was partly filmed late at night on a moving train as it hurtles from station to station. Solis thrashes away on his guitar and barks the lyrics, which celebrate the Red Line and call out the congested freeways that coil around Los Angeles.
Este es un tren del Metro Red Line a North Hollywood.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice.
The thread that comes out of the record that ties everyone together is just be alive, don't be a victim of having a car.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, the red line.
An MTA spokesman said he couldn't comment on Eddie Solis's furious pro-Metro message, but the Red Line video was a hit at the offices of Move LA.
Eddie's done a good job. Thank you, Eddie.
It's the public transportation advocacy group headed by former Santa Monica Mayor Denny Zane. He liked the juxtaposition of Solis blissfully riding LA public transit in one scene with scenes of the band raging against those notorious freeway jams.
Eddie is all frantic when he talks about highways and so mellow when he's grooving on a skateboard and on the bus and on the Red Line. There's a metaphor for the transformation, from the, oh my God, I just got to get out of the traffic, to, hey, this is cool. I can mellow out.
Or you can blast the tune like Too Many People as you claw your way across Los Angeles by car, bus, or skateboard.
Los Angeles! There's too many people! I want them to go away! Even though it means they're afraid!
Too Many People could also be a motto for It's Casual. Over the years, the band whittled itself down to a power duo of Solis and a rotating cast of drummers. So you may think the burly, bearded punk rocker just can't get along with freeways, with people, or his native L.A. Not true.
I love it. I love everything about it. I've traveled throughout the U.S. many times, and I could never look forward enough to coming back. The weather, the different cultures, the landscape. I was just like, you know what? Now I know everyone moves to L.A.
Solis will bring the love and the volume during a Red Line mini tour next month. It's Casual will play a different venue within walking distance of several Red Line metro stops from Union Station to West Hollywood. For the California Report, I'm Stephen Cuevas.
That's the California Report, a production of KQED Public Radio in San Francisco. Our director this week is Nina Thorson. Sil Muller is our technical producer. We had additional engineering from Danny Bringer and Howard Gelman. Thanks to Hank Hadley at KCBX. Our online team includes Lisa Pickoff-White, David Marks, and Don Clyde. Our interns are Catherine Borgeson and Rachel Johnson. Tyke Hendricks is our elections editor with production help from Tina Lauerberg. We had editing support from Paul Rogers. Victoria Malione is our associate senior producer. Ingrid Becker is our senior producer. The news director is Bruce Kuhn. I'm Rachel Myrow. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. This is the California Report.
Funds for the California Report are provided by the James Irvine Foundation, expanding opportunity for the people of California and supporting the California Report since its premiere in 1995. And the California Endowment. Health happens in schools at calendow.org. And Chevron, investing in renewables, strengthening communities, and creating jobs. More information at chevron.com.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The 605, the 101, the 101, the 101, the I-10, the 210, the 605, the 101, the 405, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line.
Welcome to the 110th episode of Los Angeles Nisa. I'm the show creator, producer, and host, Eddie Solis, and I'm very excited because today we're splitting the episode. It's a downtown LA episode and a Claremont episode. And I guess Altadena also. Because we're going to talk about our in-studio's guest roots. And it's really funny because we've been doing a lot of segments that are, very linear with the Grand Central Market establishment. And there's a lot of great things happening. Now, my in-studio guests are sisters Lydia and Marnie Clark. How are you guys?
Doing great. Great, thank you.
Great. And you brought a partner, Reed Herrick. How are you, sir?
Good to see you.
Good. Now, all three of you make up or components to something called DTLA Cheese. DTLA Cheese, you guys are the newest vendor over at Grand Central Market. And I think you guys are filling a really great void because the closest cheese shop is Silver Lake. There's nothing in downtown proper, I don't think. So you guys are definitely filling a void there. But let's get into that and all the details of DTLA Cheese and the Cheese Cave in Claremont. But let's go back and talk about Lydia and Marnie, your legacy that you're attached to. Now, this is a huge legacy because I'm born and raised LA.
Yeah.
So you guys are the granddaughters of Altadena.
This is true.
Yeah. Now, you see, that no matter what walk of life you are, people could relate to that because when you're a kid, it's like you figure out where the best chocolate milk is. You know what I mean?
And ice cream.
And ice cream. And did you guys do orange juice too?
We did do orange juice.
Yeah. Something about
Christmas eggnog.
Yeah. See, I mean,
secret ingredient.
Now, let's get into that a little more in depth, but I got to ask you something because I'm a huge fan of the drive-through dairies.
Oh, yeah.
Like the / liquor store dairy. That is amazing, right? I mean, it's like a really cool thing to drive through and have someone come out and bring you eggs and milk.
It is really great. Yeah. Yeah. We kind of joke too because our extended family is so big. Our grandfather was one of 17.
Whoa.
So in order to be able to have enough jobs for all the different family members, you got to kind of branch out. So it was kind of like each uncle or great uncle was kind of stationed at all the first ones. So you kind of take a tour of our family by visiting all the first drive-through dairies.
See, that's a fun fact. That's a fun fact that I didn't know existed. And that's why this show is great because we provide fun facts. I mean, I'm sure we could go on all day, but either Lydia or Marnie, AKA pizza. To be completely honest, I mean, can you guys give some insight on how Altadena came to be, the history? Just the nuts and bolts of it. Lydia, can you go into that?
Our grandfather came out with his two brothers and from Missouri, and it really was started with one cow, one route, and it grew from a very natural place, and they just serviced the community. It was delivering milk because people needed milk delivered. You weren't going to be home because you were out at work, and milk would be left on your back door. So your milkman became almost closer than your mailman.
Sure.
Because mail was just delivered and left, but milk, it was like this was going to feed your family.
Yeah.
And so dairy has always been close to our family's heart because it's like this is what feeds your family. This is what gives you nutrients. This is the good stuff.
Sure. And so it started literally with one cow and one route, and it became what it is today. How long has the business been in existence for?
Since 1945.
Wow. And was it always out of Altadena? Was that the home base?
No, actually the home base was City of Industry.
Really?
But the first route was on Altadena.
Wow, City of Industry. Yep. But the first route was Altadena proper.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then our grandfather, he actually brought a lot of his family members to live in Monrovia. And what was really cool is our grandfather was also the mayor of Monrovia and also did lots of really cool kind of dairy things. Because at that time, Monrovia and Altadena had a lot of farmland that was being used for agriculture. And kind of as time went on, it just kept getting pushed a little bit further east and east and east. But our grandfather's favorite route was always Altadena. And so he decided hey, this is what I'll name the company.
Right. And it's a catchy name.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So to this day, it's still in existence.
Yes.
As we know. And as far as the the hubs, I mean, so headquarters is still in City of Industry? Is that?
Well, our grandfather actually, he and his brothers sold it in 1989. So it's since changed hands.
Quite a few times.
Yeah, a couple times. So we're not involved with it any longer. But I think people still get a sense of quality associated with it because
Absolutely.
of what our grandfather and his brothers and really our whole extended family sacrificed, because quality was always the top priority. Had pristine dairies that were state of the art in the 50s and kind of pushing dairy technology. And so I think that kind of heritage of what our grandfather and his brothers started is still brought forward with what that brand kind of means.
Very cool. I think it's really exciting. I mean, when I think of, knowing always, growing up here, but knowing about the nuts and bolts of Altadena and things like In and Out, it's very like SoCal, so I tend personally to gravitate towards if it's not a full independent company, if it's a bigger thing, you still kind of gravitate towards that because it's local. It's a local name. It's like, that's 20 miles from where you grew up, Altadena. It's kind of cool. And I think that you guys are able to, even though it's sold off in different hands right now, you guys, it's part of a legacy. It's even like a Californian legacy.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the Cheese Cave, because the Cheese Cave has existed for how long?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay. Now, did you get into cheese because you were brought up with dairy? Was that the reason for?
I think that could be the loose assumption,
Uh-huh.
but really it's actually because of Marnie's fiance that encouraged her to start making cheese as a profession. When we lost our dad and grandfather, going through paperwork and just things of their belongings, Marnie kind of found passion in discovering all these things that they really found passion for. And through that, she started making cheese. And Milan really encouraged Marnie to, if you really love doing this, do this.
Yeah, and to be like more proactive to say, okay, well, I think, and also we kind of took dairy and our heritage for granted. We grew up always, like we drank super fresh raw milk all the time. And, we knew that dairy was like important for our health and all this stuff. But it wasn't until when we lost our father and grandfather that it was like, well, why are these things good? Like, why did our family believe so much in cultured dairy products? And so going back and like looking at all that stuff, that's kind of where I started thinking about it. And then just really so much encouragement from people around, like, well, let's see if that turns into something, that kind of like wandering. I had just graduated college and it's like, what do I do? And then it turns out I like to eat cheese. So like, how can I make this a living?
And then
I really like my sister. How can we figure out how to do this together?
And always figuring out when you grow up, always having more butter than bread. And it's like, okay, like how do we keep doing this? Like always more butter than bread.
That's
so
cool.
now it's like more cheese than bread, more cheese than crackers, more butter than bread. And so far, so good.
Okay, so let's talk about the nuts and bolts, and let's give some insight to the Cheese Cave in Claremont. Okay, so first of all, Marnie, your fiance is here.
Yeah, he is.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is Milan.
Milan, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
So let's talk about collectively. I mean, so he was somewhat the catalyst to steer you in that direction with the Cheese Cave.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. When I would talk about all these dreams of like, oh, how cool would it be to make cheese and all this stuff, then he's very like check things off a list. Like, well, did you do it today? And I'll be like, no, I'll probably do it tomorrow. It's like, okay, well, what time are you starting tomorrow?
So you visualize and he materialized.
Yeah. He keeps me on track of like, let's do this. And it kind of set things in motion.
Right.
And encouraged me to go seek a job in cheese making. And, that kind of what started why we wanted to have a shop. Because, I started working as a cheesemaker and all the really fun kind of cheese events and conferences in California tend to be up in the Bay Area. And my sister was living up in Napa, and every single excuse I could get to get up there and into wine country to drink wine and eat cheese and have dinner parties and all that type of stuff I took. So we kind of figured out that if we could do that together, that would be ideal.
Let's talk about the components of the Cheese Cave. I mean, so what's everyone's role in it? Or to build a framework, what was your role? Because it's moving. It's been moving for 3 years.
And when we first talked about opening, Marnie and I really thought that now it's so laughable. We thought the two of us would be able to run it ourselves. That
And be like old ladies, like these old like cheese ladies in 30, 40 years and be like,
still running our one shop.
Those like cheese grandmas, they're so cute. They're sisters. They've been doing this forever. And we thought it would just be us.
The shop's closed on Mondays, and then it was like, okay, Marnie, you'll work Tuesdays, I'll work Thursdays, we'll split shift on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll work together Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it'll probably be a little bit busier. And so week one, we were like, what have we done? Like, now we need to hire a staff. We need extra help. And so our mom works for us and picks up bread and makes the sandwiches, just our little grab-and-go sandwiches in the morning. And slowly but surely, we have a mini crew there that's been with us practically from day one.
Yeah, small but mighty.
Yeah, small but mighty. That is true. Yeah. And now, how many? 2, 3, 4, 5?
I don't know. There's 6, 7, 8 if you count our brother that helps sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really all hands on deck.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Boyfriends and fiancés, mothers, brothers.
Yeah.
You
cousins.
get a grandma rolling through once in a while or an aunt.
Yeah.
I got a grandma rolling through once in a while.
You don't know what she's doing, but she's going to do it.
And Reed, so Lydia and Reed are a couple, and he moved down from Napa to help us and left his job as a chef up there because we really needed help down at the cheese shop, and the distance was kind of a lot for them. And it was, it's also scary when it's your baby as a business. Like, you want to bring in people that you really trust because it's a big deal to let people in. So we have just taken every single person that we already love and know and be like, okay, let's work together.
I mean, that's a lot of, that's the best way to reassure yourself. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't have maybe the proper cheese skill yet, just hypothetically speaking, if they didn't, you're better off having someone there you trust fully.
Totally.
And then teaching them as they go.
Yeah. You can learn cheese. That's the thing.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about why the Cheese Cave is different than other cheese shops in that area. I mean, you guys serve how many different cheeses?
Well, 180, 200 different cheeses.
Wow.
At least.
But there really isn't a cheese shop very close to us in Claremont. And
so you're filling a void.
Yeah, we totally are. And initially our idea was we were going to have a super tiny shop just dedicated to cheese, just a little bit of accoutrements and accompaniments. And then because we looked for about a year because we knew we wanted to be in Claremont. And through that year, we were like, okay, well, where can we find like a salami that uses heritage breed animals and no nitrates, all that kind of good stuff in a natural casing, done well. And like, we couldn't find it. So it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll expand to do charcuterie as well. And now we've kind of become this little hub for people when they're looking for anything that a recipe, every single day somebody comes in with a recipe and it's like, oh, I don't know what this is, but do you have it? And so we try to also have all those kind of things to go, into different.
And we also,
much of the success of the Cheese Cave is the passion that the girls exude, and everybody involved exudes this extreme amount of passion for cheese and everything, and our customers and our friends. Customers become friends. Mm-hmm. So
great relations are built in an independent business.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, about all hands on deck. These girls are there every day. So
that's great.
It's inspiring.
I think that's what separates, independent business models, because a lot of the independent businesses, such as yourselves, it's coming from passion, and it's priceless. You can't put a price tag on it. You're always going to do it. That's what you're built to do,
Absolutely.
And the end result is, the Cheese Cave, Detail A Cheese. And speaking of which, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about all the great things happening in downtown Los Angeles, Grand Central Market, and your new place, Detail A Cheese.
Hi, this is Eddie Solis. You're listening to Los Angeles Nista on Skidrow. This episode of Los Angeles Nista is brought to you by La Mascota Bakery, a family-owned business serving the community since 1952. Tamales and sweetbread, made the old-fashioned way daily.
yourself.
children occupied after school. Gotta find something for them to do. When they come home, nobody's around. Keep them occupied after school. Children occupied after school. Gotta find something for them to do. When they come home, nobody's around. We gotta keep them occupied after school. Good. Them occupied.
Hey, welcome back here to the 110th episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm Edward Solis. The 110th episode is brought to you by Poppy's Pizzeria on 109 East 8th Street, located between Main and Los Angeles Street, opening 11 a.m. on Super Bowl Sunday. And they got Super Bowl specials. Buy more than one pizza and get a full order of hand-cut potato wedges with your choice house-made dipping sauces. Number 213-623-3588. So let's talk about downtown LA and the downtown Los Angeles explosion, which includes Grand Central Market. Now, this place has been renovated extremely I think, not only with finesse, where they're keeping the same aesthetic, but it has like a natural progression to it. And I've seen a lot of new vendors pop up. But you guys, being the newest, Downtown LA Cheese, let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask Russ. Reed, I'm sorry. You
can call me Russ, man. I'm all good with that.
You are Russ.
That's perfect.
Today you're Russ. No. This hour you're Russ.
That's how.
Yeah. No, so anyways, did you guys have different visions where to install DTLA cheese before going to Grand Central Market, or did you tailor DTLA cheese just for Grand Central Market?
I think it was tailored just for Grand Central Market. I mean, we had ideas. It was time to kind of expand and grow, and we had looked to Palm Springs and some other things just more for our leisure than to blow up or whatever. When they approached us for Grand Central Market, we just kind of stood back and like, whoa, are we ready for this? This is a different step.
Right.
That, were we ready to plunge into? So we decided to go for it. I mean, Lydia was kind of the catalyst. She was like, no.
I was the skeptical one. I was like, this is not a good idea.
And I was like, how hard am I going to have to work?
And I'm like, we're doing this.
Now, was it Kevin West and Chris Farber who approached you guys?
Joseph originally. So Joseph, who's also Kevin's partner.
Okay.
That they're kind of bringing in a bunch of people, and also another Claremont connection there. Joseph is dear friends with our friends Steve and Gloria that have a restaurant in Claremont, and
Really?
they also live in Altadena. And so we had many dinner parties together and shared cheese plates and all of this. And he had said, like, we need a cheesemonger in downtown. We need a cheesemonger in Grand Central, and we want you to be the mongers. And we were like, what? That's crazy. Like, we've only had a shop for 3 years. And at the time, it was 2.5 years. And just the progression, and it just seemed like the right fit. And we knew we wanted to grow, but we knew that we didn't want to make Cheese Cave come to downtown. It's DTLA cheese. It's a different aspect. You're not going to go to each of the locations and have the same experience. As
I like that. I like that approach. It's kind of like the local musician who plays in 4 bands, and it's like they all sound the same. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Why?
You know what I mean? It's like, so
and
you
then
guys are
in the audience at one of those concerts, you're going to be disappointed. Like, oh, it's not really like when they do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a great approach because you really are working extra harder to make the dynamic different.
Yes.
And that,
And it's an easy thing. I mean, that market is so incredible. It's a living beast. You walk those streets, you walk that market, and it's alive. There's a pride. I mean, people work 7 days a week. There's no break. You've got shop owners in there and stall owners. They're there 7 days a week, and everybody's high-fiving in the morning. And
That's
you get
awesome.
up, and it pushes you to work harder because it's like, oh, I'm tired. Like, oh, my feet hurt. Like, yes, all of these things. But tomorrow, that guy next to you, he's still going to be there. And he's been there 40 years. Like, he's been there 30 years, and he's
all
still
day,
doing
every
it.
day.
And it just looks across. Like, you can see when we go through
like,
rushes, like, between. And so there's this, cool. Like, they bring tea over. The guy across from us, Mike brings tea over for the boys in the morning. And
every morning at 7 a.m., Persian tea, just to say, hey, good morning.
Fixes you guys up.
2 little lumps of sugar. And it's like, that's our morning ritual.
Such a nice gesture, like.
It's
a family there.
Be neighborly and there's, of course everyone wants to do the best, but there's more of a unity.
Yeah, it's
happening.
old and new. You have to maintain the heritage and the culture of the market. It's been there for 100 years. You have to maintain that. Yeah, you can bring in new, but the old has to be there. It's the
respect.
Foundation. It's the structure. It's the
part of the framework, right?
Yeah.
The framework, yeah.
And
it's legacy of it.
Yeah, and they call those vendors the legacy vendors, the ones that have been there for a long time. And you know what's funny? I went to the media opening for the breakfast campaign. There's like 4 different vendors serving breakfast, opening at 7, serving at 7. And so, I was one of the press people to attend and, was able to sample this food and meet those vendors. And there was one vendor who was a legacy vendor. And I bought from him consistently the last few years. And I could tell that he was influenced by the new. And I thought that was really cool because the way he presented his food and the way he cut it and the kind of plate he put it on, like it was like he stepped it up. You know what I mean? Because the new that's coming in cares enough to not only provide great food, but to present it. And I think, at one point that market, things go through different changes and maybe they're just going through the motions at one point. But now what it is now is it's a completely relevant place again. Very relevant.
Absolutely.
I think you feel that walking the streets here too. I think for a while, downtown has had a negative feeling like, okay, we're just getting through. But now people that are here, that are choosing to live in downtown, to be in downtown, this is a choice and it's prideful. It's like,
Absolutely.
No, we live here, we work here, we eat here.
We play here. But yeah.
Live, work, and play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's great. Now, as far as the Grand Central Market food hall goes, I've done the research and I feel like, the food trucks are here and they're already peaked. But I think the next thing for downtown Los Angeles or any major city around the country is the food hall. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think there's people's attention span is relatively short when it comes to dining nowadays. I think you're looking at somebody that wants many different choices. I'll take a small bite from here, a small bite from there, something from here, just to try all these different cuisines and keep their mind working and excited about things, and I think the market is allowing us to do that, and it's just the way people eat now, I think.
especially if you have all your friends with you too, and you can try all these things in the same day. Or if you're by yourself, you can go to the same place that's down the street from your office and eat something different for an entire month. You can have something different that's not repetitive and keep going. That's like so conveniently and it's like centrally located.
You know what? I also think that part of the experience of going to Grand Central Market is it's so easy to get there car free.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, you could take the red line from Union Station or come in from North Hollywood or Hollywood right to the Pershing Square station and walk across street.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I mean, because to me, that's part of city life. You know, like being able to be loose and not binded to a car. And
you can even do it from the burbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. I mean, when you guys were building, or installing Detail HEs, you guys were coming in on the Metrolink.
Yeah, we still often do.
Like our mom came to visit us from Claremont today in the market and took Metrolink. Her friend from China was visiting, and they hopped on Metrolink, got off on Union Station from Claremont. Mm-hmm. And that she walked from her little apartment her condo in downtown, walked right over, hopped on the Metrolink, and then took the red line right to Pershing Square, walked around the market all day, hopped back on, and so it's like it makes it a stress-free, easy day. So a lot of times the stressful parts about coming to LA or traveling, like, oh, I've got to go over here. I only have this much time. But if you don't have to find parking, and you don't have to be
traffic.
In your car. You can return your emails. You can. It's really just so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I do? I always buy this thing called the Easy Pass, and it's like cheaper than the MTA Day Pass or monthly pass. So the Easy Pass, it's like $84, $90 a month, right? Mm-hmm. And it's good for every agency.
Oh wow.
So like when you divide that by 30 days, it's like $2.85 a day. To travel unlimited.
Yeah.
Well, so, I think by car, it's like $9 each way for us to drive
parking.
from Claremont, plus parking.
Yeah, so I'm just like, whether it's like I'm, busing or light rail train or train, I'm able to, take my Google phone and write emails and text messages and keep the ball rolling for what I'm involved in. You know what I mean? So it's really like efficient if a car-free lifestyle or having a car but choosing not to use it during rush hours. It could really benefit you efficiently. And I think that's, the people listening to the show that are most likely independent business owners or, professionals in different industries that are moving to downtown or or just moved to downtown, learning about your place. Like some people don't even know there's a red line until they move to downtown, because it's not really promoted well in the burbs, but it could be useful. Question I had for Reed. Was the aesthetic of the Detail HEs, it's not a booth. It's just, I'm not going to call it a booth because it's a food hall and what's installed is an actual structure. How did you come up with that design?
We had some help from our friends at Still Room, Jessica and Rachel. I think
Group Effort.
At Group Effort. And I think a lot of the aspects of the design, they pulled from the city. I mean, if you look at the cabinet work that we've had done, it resembles the DOT building. It has that perforated metal. It's kind of seamless. We had to stick to an era as far as the market was concerned. They wanted us to maintain what was happening in the market, not look too flashy, not look too dated,
So a balance?
So it had to be balanced, and we wanted it clean. We wanted it stylish. I mean, Liddy loves her honeycomb tiles and her avocado grout, and I have my kitchen, and it's not too polished. It's just really nice on the eye.
It serves the market, and I think it serves the market well, but it also creates its own identity. Yeah. It stands out, in my opinion, more than anything.
And it's about functionality too. Everything's meant to be used in there, and nothing's
no space wasted.
No space wasted. We only have 400 square feet. I mean, and we want to be able to put the most out there with what we have.
So being efficient.
Yeah.
Be very efficient. Yeah.
How long did it take you to set that up?
We've been working on it for a year. Construction was relatively rapid. It was, 6-8 weeks. We ran into some glitches as far as inspections go.
And I mean, with a building that's from 1917, 1890 was when construction first started, you will run into issues and
that's just
but it's
doing business always.
It's doing business, and it's paying respect to the building too. To if you were to make shortcuts or to do something in a way that was irresponsible, you're then affecting how many of your other workers. It's like
it's a trickle down effect.
Yeah, it is. So you don't want to disturb anybody else that's also doing their. I mean, this is their livelihoods every day. So a hiccup here or there now seems like, okay, like, wow, we did this. It's open. We're here.
Yeah, the market was very gracious and super helpful and did everything they could to help speed along our process. But I think it all happened for a reason. It allowed us to tighten the screws and make sure that we had our ducks in a row before we opened, so that when we did open, it was relatively seamless. It was, we were ready to go, and the market was ready for us. We had made friends. We were in the market every day. I mean, there wasn't a day we weren't in the market.
Wow.
Watching over construction, meeting people that work in the market, that come to the market. So we had established these relationships early on and said, hey, we're going to be there. We're here. We're not just opening a business and then
crawling into our little world.
Yeah, somebody else is going to run it.
Right.
We're running it. We want to be a part of this.
So a year to build it physically, more or less.
From signing the lease to going.
We signed March. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we signed in March, and construction didn't start until July, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there was that initial process of drawing up designs and all that stuff takes some time, and
and scary.
Yeah, we don't know how to do that. We know how to monger cheese, and I know how to cook food. I mean, I couldn't build an IKEA cabinet, to tell the truth.
Oh, I could.
That's Milan's job.
Everyone's a component. I love that. Now, you see, that's what I love is the backstory to legacies in business, and just the fact that I've gone by a few times, and now I know. And listeners will know once they walk in, how much work has gone into it. It just didn't pop up like, it's like, hey, we've done the Cheese Cave and we come from the Altadena family. It's like, bam, there it is. No, it takes work like anybody else. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the beauty of independent business is actually having a vision, visualizing, materializing, and then taking the steps along the way in a committed way to make a great product. I mean, a lot of times when we have people from the food industry on, I just love to know about the prep that goes on. I mean, because, when you get your plate of food, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of ordering and prepping and labor going into it. So, I mean, what time do you guys get there in the morning?
I'm there at 6:30 every morning.
Wow.
So, that's 4 hours before we open, and Lydia's there shortly after.
I take the dog out for a walk.
She has to take the dog out for a walk. So
keep the dogs happy.
Yeah, exactly. So, we had a little catering gig the other day, and we had to be there even earlier. But it's whatever you have to do to be ready to go at 10 a.m. And we hope to be able to, that the market's hours will unfold so that we can be open from 7 in the morning until midnight.
Amazing.
And have it be more of a spot in the evening where people drop by on their way home from work. Hey, don't mess with traffic. Well, first get on the Metro link. But
or the red line across the street.
The red line.
That's great. I mean, it seems like, the managerial infrastructure at Grand Central Market, like we mentioned, Kevin West and, Chris Farber, the head of business development, they're working really hard to get people like you installed and in doing the appropriate marketing and promotions to let people know what's there. Am I right?
Yes, for sure.
It's totally a partnership.
It's a partnership.
And you guys are involved
We're a family.
in an infrastructure that wants to succeed.
Absolutely.
It's not just throw you in. Yeah, that's great.
They're solely invested in cheese now. And when Wexler's comes and
Wexler's
the
Deli is gonna be there.
oysters
Yeah.
and, they're invested in all these people. They want us all to succeed, and they've done a wonderful job of handpicking some great characters and some great players in this. So it can be a family and maintain, extended family.
Right. And I think, with this whole downtown LA revolution that's happening, explosion, I do believe that more people are going to be mindful about going car free. And the fact that you guys are located across the street from the Pershing Square station, it's just going to get better this spring and summer as far as foot traffic. I mean, you guys every time I walk in, the market's way more crowded than it was 4 years ago. I've seen that,
in 6 months.
Yeah, you've seen the difference in 6 months, right? So I think this year with like spring and summer, when more people would come out, it's going to be even way more. So I think the growth is consistent. You know what I mean?
I think we've had, this past weekend, we had a half a dozen friends or Cheese Cave customers that rode the train out.
That's amazing.
And the weekend before, there was a few as well. So that's happening. We're able to bridge that gap with the train via the Claremont store. And
I know, I think it'd be fun to do. We've kind of talked about, how can we put together, not like a cheese scavenger hunt, but some sort of map where it's they start at Cheese Cave to get this snack and then go, give the route of how to get to downtown LA and plan a whole Grand Central Market and your afternoon. I want this map of this day.
Well, you know what? This spring, I'm going to be doing the Los Angeles Nista walking tours. So I think, that's an excuse to go to Claremont to downtown.
Yeah, maybe they can buy a ticket in Claremont, and that could be part of it.
And you can stop by Rhino Records.
The music,
go by the
music and cheese tour.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of genius.
We'll go to the Cheese Cave and Rhino, and then we'll go to Detail A Cheese
stop
and
by
Amoeba.
The folk music store. Yeah.
Because you could take the red line to Amoeba to Vine, and it's right there.
It's perfect.
Music
and you'll need
cheese.
to fuel, snack breaks at all these different spots. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just keep throwing that idea out there because I know there's somebody, and I think that might be you.
Eddie's the guy.
Get together. You got it.
Yeah. Well, I've actually already been talking to Break White Light about doing this. So, but anyways, I wanted to ask you, just off the top of your head, if someone says, why should I go to DTLA Cheese? I love cheese, but why should I go there? What do I tell them?
It's delicious. I mean, good cheese is good.
I think our passion, going back to the passion thing, it transcends what we're doing. I mean, we're totally immersed in this world, and it's what we do day, night, all the time.
Yeah.
The girls have an extensive knowledge of cheese that is just mind-blowing, yet it puts you at ease and it's comforting. You don't have to feel like a...
Yeah, it's our job to find the right cheese for each customer. Just because somebody else likes this or you read that you're supposed to eat this particular cheese, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that each customer that leaves with a piece of cheese is really super stoked that they have that cheese to take home because that's their piece of cheese, and so that's what a cheesemonger does, is have that conversation to make sure that the cheese is the right fit for the person.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing that's so great about cheese is sometimes you think of it as this big scary thing of oh, I heard that I can't put this with this, and you can. I mean, you're the boss of you. You have to eat it.
Right.
If
that's what you want, then do it.
Yeah. Yes, if this tastes great,
enjoy it
together. Enjoy.
We're there to facilitate, to kind of, I'm going to use what Lydia always says, to curate your experience and guide you.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, you guys are definitely tailoring your product to the taste, and it could be all done. I mean, it's endless, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Really. So I want to thank everyone for coming on and talking about Detail A Cheese and the Cheese Cave. This is the 110th episode of Los Angeles Nista, and the second hour is going to feature Executive Chef Masamalo, Robert Luna. We're going to talk about his new skating toy shop out on Melrose. But before we go, I want to say thank you and give a big shout out and acknowledgement to Amoeba Music, Death Wish Skateboards, Baker Skateboards, Scum Skateboards, Soul Skating Los Angeles, and to Phil and Skate Shop in Whittier. And also, this episode is brought to you by a group called Courage You Bastards, who are playing February 8th at the Old Town Pub in Pasadena. And they got a new record out called Across Those Fires and the Dark, out on iTunes. So, DTLA people, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, all of you. This was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to more visits to your shop and to Grand Central Market, car free without a car. But if you drive, there's a huge parking structure.
Yeah, validated.
So yeah.
1 hour free. Where can you park free in LA?
Nowhere. But at Grand Central Market, you can.
1 hour.
For 1 hour.
Okay,
There
great.
you go.
Thanks for coming.
And all
like Batman and Robin or Superman and Superdog? Which one were you? Which one am I? Oh yeah, fucking fool. You're a fucking liar! Knife in the face! Knife in the face! Knife in the face! Knife in the face! Bridges are burning. I just watch them burn. Another one down, man. When will I learn? When will I give up? When will I quit? Opening my life up to other people's shit. A handshakes mean nothing, and a man's word is his lie. I can't believe I went along for the ride. Knife in the face when I was down and out. Knife in the face, it left no doubt. Knife in the face, this is reality. Knife in the face, that's what you think of me. That's what you think of me. Knife in the face. Knife in the face. Knife in the face. Knife in the face.
Hey, this is Dimitri from Off, and you're listening to Car Free Radio Los Angeles Nista.
This episode of Los Angeles Nista is brought to you by La Mascota Bakery, a family-owned business serving the community since 1952. Tamales and sweetbread, made the old-fashioned way daily.
Free juice, free ball.
your history book? Which one is your math book? Which one is your history book? Which one is your English book? Which one is your science book? Sharing is not caring. Sharing is not caring. Which one is your math book? Which one is your English book? Which one is your science book? Which one is your history book? Where is your math book? Where is your English book? Where is your history book? Where is your science book? Sharing. Sharing is not caring. Sharing. It's not caring. Caring. Caring.
All right, welcome back to the 110th episode of Los Angeles Nista. I am the show creator, producer, and host, Edward Solis, and want to say thank you to the people of DTLA Cheese for coming in and bringing some grub and being very kind and being great guests. Now, my second guest for this episode of Los Angeles Nista 110 is the executive chef at Mas Malo, Robert Luna. How are you, man?
Good. Happy to be here.
Oh, great, man. You know, last time you were here, we spoke all about Mas Malo, your history as a chef,
right,
and building menus and being in the forefront and all that. But tonight, we're here to talk about your shop. We're going to talk about your shop that you just moved inside Meltdown Comics on Melrose.
Yeah, Meltdown on Sunset.
Oh, it's on Sunset.
Sunset block before Fairfax near the Guitar Center.
Oh, killer. So the actual shop that you own, it's like a hybrid of things that you're into personally, right? I mean, one is skateboarding.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the skateboard stock. There's like new and used stuff, right?
New and used, old, in between,
Vintage.
broken, vintage, incomplete, missing everything, cracked in half, autographed. Basically my collection, that I've been putting together for like better than 30 years.
Wow.
So, and finally got married, and my wife was like, wow, you're insane. Let's do something with it.
Right. So, I mean, obviously you come from skateboarding, as do I. That's one of the threads that, we all have in common.
Right.
We could talk about that stuff. You were skateboarding. I mean, let's talk about this in the 90s when street skating hit.
Yeah.
Early 90s, right?
Started skating in, I want to say like 85, 86. And then got like super passionate about it in like early 90s.
Yeah.
And when all the slick bottoms have hit and it was just changing. It went from all vert into like this.
All street.
Yeah, all street.
Even the fashion, right?
Everything.
Like, remember the ghetto wear shorts?
Yeah. I was amazed. I was looking at some stuff in my mom's garage about a month ago, and I ran across like Vision Streetwear shoes and Vision Streetwear shorts, and
that's awesome.
I was like, wow, I can't believe she kept all this stuff. But yeah, it was a culture, and it's actually something that I fell in love with early on because I was a big guy. I'm like 6 foot at the time. I was like 250. I was pushed to play football. They said do track and field, and I just didn't fit in. I wasn't the jock. I wasn't like the guy that was like super popular with everybody. I was kind of like, not a loner, but my friends were definitely on the lower end of the totem pole, if you will. And so
individuals.
It was like
skateboarding is.
Yeah, and it was like, you could, it was like not going to the dances. It was like hanging outside of the dances, and hanging out behind the liquor store rather than, at someone's house and like trying to make out with someone. It was just like, hey, screw it. Let's go skate. Let's go do something. And it was like individual appeal that got to me early on. And so in 86, I remember there was a skate shop in Alhambra called Main Street Bikes.
Oh, wow.
And I remember I saw Steve Rocco and the Sims team out there, and I was just like, whoa,
They did a demo?
Yeah.
Wow. What year was this?
I think it was like 86, summer of 86. And
When Rocco rode for Sims?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just blown away. I was like, these guys are like making a living at it.
Right. But these guys were like rock stars to guys like you and I. Like
beyond. It was like, it was so funny. You had Lance Mountain on
last week.
And I grew up literally like 2 blocks from his house.
In Alhambra,
right? At the Mountain Manor. Underneath, where Phil Spector killed that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like literally 4 houses away from that castle. And it was kids, we'd skate by the house, and like once in a while you'd get the nod, okay, come in. And other than that, it was just like you'd see these dudes hanging around and skating, and you're just like, man, that's the shit. That's like what I want to do.
Right. I mean, and like, let's be honest, like, a lot of these guys like Lance and Tony Hawk, Hosoi, Alva, I mean, they're living legends.
Right.
And fast forward present day, skateboarding has accumulated this massive following, not only with people buying this stuff and adapting to that subculture, but also the fact that mainstream America has accepted it now. Right. So these guys are more like icons more than ever.
Oh, absolutely. And the really great thing about skateboarding, even today, my daughter, 17, Genevieve, and skates and stuff and whatever not, but it's still not, it's mainstream in a big corporate sense,
right?
But it's still not. It's still that like kind of like that screw you type of mentality. This is what I'm doing.
Sure.
I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care what you're pushing at me. This is my deck. This is what I'm doing. And it's still very independent. It's still
individual minded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to articulate your passion for skateboarding because you're selling skateboard stuff in your store.
Right.
So this all comes from passion. You're going with what you know.
This is the selling of the skateboards and the stuff like that for me was difficult. Like I didn't want to sell any of my decks. I didn't want to sell anything that I rode, anything that I had saved, and there's a couple of things. Like I have like the first Pro Street model for Nautis Copus. And I have the first Street Pro model for Hosoi, and I have this first team deck, and I bought those, and it's like I don't want to get rid of them. But on the other hand, like I run into kids and guys, that are, I'm 41. I run into guys that are in their late 20s. They're like, man, that guy's like amazing. And I remember seeing those videos. I'm like, okay, I've held these things for a few years. I've owned them. I've cherished them. I'm going to give them to someone else.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, is it about making money? At the end of the day, sure, we have to pay rent and stuff, but it's also about pushing what I love and pushing the culture and giving it to someone else that they can enjoy it.
That's cool.
And we sell at the shop. We're really like hell bent on like buying old decks, refurbishing and giving them back out to the community.
Okay.
Like I got kids that come in and like, man, I got $30. I just cracked my deck. And I'm like, cool, man, I got a deck. It still has some life in it. I give you for 20 bones. And they'll take it and they'll ride it for 4 or 5 more weeks, bust it, come back and pick up another used deck. And that's what it's about. It's about letting those kids that don't have money, that don't have the access to buying, running to borders and buying brand new decks for $100 and some, being able to come to me and say, hey, I need a deck. And I'm like, cool, bro, I got something for you.
So you work with all budgets?
Yeah, basically. Anywhere, anything in between.
That's cool, man. And I remember you told me a story the first time we spoke about this was even like with something as simple as bearings.
Yeah.
Like, people are just like, kids are like, well, like, I can't go buy a whole new set of bearings.
Right.
That's like $30, right?
Right.
You're like, well, you only need one right now. You look at their board, right. And so you'll like, hook them up.
Absolutely. It's that, I don't know, saying it here on the air and with you and all, it sounds like, oh, we're trying to like being like this really like goo-dooter, this guy that's really helping out. But honestly, when I was a kid, it was that. It was like I'd run to a buddy's house and like I'd have a cracked truck and he'd be, hey, man, I got an extra one. Throw it on your board. And so it's kind of the same mentality now. It's like my cousin Nicholas, who lives in Silver Lake, all his kids skates. He's really amazing and stuff. And it's seeing those guys now that are in their teens pushing it and pushing the limit and really making it the tradition and all the art of it move on beyond, what we ever thought it was. And mind you, dude, I was not like the professional guy. I was not like even 1/6 of whatever these guys are. I skated just for the pure love of skating and like they do. But I wasn't like, like doing all the tricks in the world or anything like that. But when you have a love for something at any level, that's what matters.
Yeah. Because you're doing it because you want to.
Right.
You really want to be there.
Yeah.
At these skate spots, whether it's a parking block or a bank,
right?
Whatever it is, you're there.
Wherever there was a smooth surface, and you could, power slide on it. It was like, yeah, that's it. Let's do
exactly.
it.
Now, don't you think that what skateboarding facilitates for someone like being able to draw motivation on your own without a team, that has helped you with everything else in life, like your career? In a way, to stay motivated?
I would say...
Disciplined?
And I must have been like 12 or 13 years old. My parents had a house up in Rancho Cucamonga, and there was no one around. Rancho Cucamonga at the time was literally one horse, a liquor store, and a couple of cars. And so there was nothing to do. And I remember I had a skateboard. We went to Big Bear, and my mom bought me a skateboard for Christmas. And not knowing that when she paid the $40 for the deck, that she had to buy the other stuff for it. Oh. I bought you the skateboard. Now you need wheels and trucks and all this other stuff. Yeah, Ma, it's kind of like,
everything.
I need it. So I was in Rancho, and I ran into this guy that was having a yard sale, and he had a few decks. And I said, man, I need some trucks and stuff. And I ended up he put trucks on my board. I think I gave him like $7, and I couldn't ride it. Falling off, I think I scratched an elbow. And it was that summer that I learned to actually ride the skateboard. I was actually able to stand on it, push off, go. And I'm not a goofy-footed skater, so I ride front foot forward. And little I know that makes it a lot harder for you to do any kind of tricks and stuff because it's goofy-footed. It's just the way it's done. But at the time, I got on it, and I was, man, I can do this. So next summer, man, I can now do this. And so growing up in life, without wanting to be in, team sports and stuff, it was like, okay, I can do this by myself. I can be a chef. I can go cook. I can open a restaurant. I don't need anyone behind me. I can create a menu. I can do all these things. And it all stemmed from getting that, that confidence from being able to ride a skateboard.
Yeah.
And really, I attribute a lot of
self-confidence.
Came from that summer.
Wow.
In Rancho Cucamonga.
Wow. now that's pretty priceless because a lot of people are impatient, even as kids. Right. And I remember when I started skating, like in '87. I was 12. I'm in Whittier. That's where I'm from. I would see like kids got boards because that was the thing to do. It was like, yeah, we want to skate. But then like immediately when it wasn't catching on, they just stopped.
Right.
Like I'm not into this no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and I just think like it's just with that piece of wood and wheels, like you could learn how to really draw inspiration.
Yeah.
And if you could do it with that, then you could do it anywhere. Like say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a chef.
Right.
And I'm going to build this menu and it's going to just blow doors on everybody.
I mean, well, look at you, man. Like, producer, host, of this show and the self-confidence to do that all on your own. I mean, to say I'm going to, obviously have a team, but to put the foresight and be able to put it together.
And make it happen.
Came from something.
Exactly.
Maybe it all didn't come from skating, but I'm sure a big part of it was that confidence to be able to do that.
You're right. It was. It's taught me how to, self-belief.
Right.
Because when you're trying to trick, if you don't see yourself actually do it before you do it, you're going to fall on your ass.
Right. You envision it first, and then it's like break an egg, cut an elbow, and then bam, I did it.
And then do it. Now, so, again, I think it's really cool that, the shop that you're doing, the selling of your skateboards and the hardware and wheels, it's mostly secondhand, right?
Oh, most of it, yeah.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is you're there to be like any other business in the fact where like, yeah, we have to make sales to pay rent, but also there's a bigger backstory where you wanna see people and kids not stop because not having the budget to skate. You want to be able to be someone that they could go to and say, hey, this is how much I have, and then go for it.
With me in cooking, right? I've had my sous chef Bernardo's been with me since he was like 17. Wow. He's 27 now, And he has job offers, and I trained him. This is my guy, you know. And a bunch of my guys have been with me for a long time. So nothing makes me feel better as a chef to say, yeah, the executive pastry chef at this new hotel was my guy. I trained him, you know. So when we opened the shop a year ago, the first shop, it was like, man, who knows? You know, one of these guys could be the next big pro, and down the road, he's going to like throw me a shout out and be, yeah, I remember that time I didn't have any money and he threw me a board, or he, you know, hooked me up with some wheels or something. And so for me, it's always the bigger picture down the road that I want recognition. You know, we all want recognition for what we do. And if I can get some of that recognition by helping someone out, even better. Because it's not something I paid for. It's not something that I had to lie and cheat and try to get a weird way. It's like honest goodness, just here, bro, go skate, do something.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool. So what's the name of your shop?
The shop is Screws.
Screws.
The original name of the shop was Screw.
Okay.
Or Screws, but there was a lot of bad phone calls that thinking we were an adult store. So my cousin and my wife came up with the idea of just calling it Screws, because one of my favorite like grail toys that I'm looking for the past, 6 years was a thing called Ooze It.
Okay.
Little green guy, you squeeze him, stuff comes out of his eyes from the late 70s. And so the name came Screws. SCROOZE. Screws.
OOZE, like ooze.
Like ooze.
That's cool. Okay, so Screws, and it's located in Meltdown Comics.
Right.
On Sunset.
On Sunset. We're just moving in. The original store was on Virgil, and we closed it down. My wife is pretty motivated, and so she grew the store beyond what I ever imagined, and we just didn't fit in the store. And a lot of inventory, and just a lot of people really interested in what we were doing. And we work with a couple of people up in TJ, and we donate stuff to them. And so she really got a whole group of people that were super interested in the store, and we got really big. And people were bringing us collections, and we were buying, and we just outgrew the store. And I had met through the store Gaston, who's the owner of Meltdown.
Okay.
Came to our store and said, wow, you guys have the best toy store in LA, hands down. And I said, well, dude, we're closing up. We just don't fit here. We're looking for another location. And about a week later, I got an email from him saying, hey, bro, we really need your flavor in LA. We don't want you to leave Hollywood. We need you. Why don't you come into Meltdown, and I'll give you the entire toy store portion of it to run, which is, it's a pretty big operation. They've been there 20 years. And I was like, man, all right, let me think about it. And my wife hit me and said, what are you thinking about? It's Meltdown.
Do it.
It's like the mecca of comic books in L.A. What are you thinking? And so I called him back. I said, yeah, bro, we're interested. Let's talk. And he said, well, we're ready to move you in, man. We need someone that's going to curate and not just sell toys, but actually curate toys. Someone that's actually going to have a store that looks more like a gallery. Someone that's going to really love the artistry of what a toy is. And that's what it is.
Especially those old school 70s toys.
Yes.
Like the Shogun Warriors and all that.
That's the gold.
That's the gold.
Yeah.
Now, so it's skateboards, it's toys, anything else?
Skateboards, toys. I'm not sure. I was doing a lot of stuff with vintage Krylon and graffiti and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, you were involved in that, right?
And so we're probably gonna step into that where we're selling vintage marks lots and all that whole graph equipment. And I'm always buying iconic stuff from when I grew up, ghetto blasters and stuff like that. Stuff that speaks to not just one element like toys, but actually the culture, what I grew up in.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to curate. It's what I'm trying to push forward. And guys that are in their early 30s that are looking and say, man, I just missed being 40 and living with that stuff. Now I want to own a piece of it.
Yeah, ghetto blasters,
right?
Old skateboards, and 70s toys, or
70s and 80s toys.
Wow.
And it was funny growing up. There wasn't a lot of money. We got toys, and my mom, I think for Christmas in 79, bought me an X-wing, and I opened it and I was playing with it. I was like, this is great. And then I looked at the boxes. Man, it looks so much more fun on the box.
Right?
Man, that kid's having fun, and it's flying, and there's lights and cannons. And I was like, mine doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with the packaging. I fell in love with what...
Especially Star Wars, right?
Especially Star Wars.
All the first movie boxes.
Yeah.
The TIE Fighter, and how they have a movie clip there.
Right.
And then on the back, and then a kid holding it.
Right, and they're all set up, and he's smiling. He has a little turtleneck, and it's
Yeah.
you know, I fell in love with it. That's, man, the packaging for me was like so important. And so ever since then, I mean, I remember not opening any toys. Or if I opened them, I was meticulous.
Really?
Put them back in the
Even
box.
when you were very young?
That's why the collection grew so big, is because I never threw any of the paperwork away, none of the boxes, anything.
Okay, so if I walk in, so Meltdown's handling the comics.
Right.
And so they're giving you X amount of space to curate the toy department. Right. And through that section, you're going to be selling your skateboard stuff.
Skateboards, toys.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say right now if a crazy skateboard collector came in? Like, what old rare stuff do you have skateboard wise?
Something I just pulled out of the treasure chest that is my back garage. Rodney Mullen Mutt freestyle deck.
A freestyle deck?
Yeah.
From Powell?
Yep.
No way.
Set up with mini indies, OJs. It's like amazing. Blue, it's the blue dip, so like it's the blue stain, and with the dog skating.
No way.
Yeah, that one's pretty
rare.
Pretty rare. That one and the Neil blender, the T one where he's holding the coffee cup.
Yeah,
one
that's so dope.
Yeah,
that's so dope. So like for instance, like that Rodney Mullen complete. It's complete, right? What's that going for in your store?
That one, I'm probably going to put it up at like around $400. It's a $1,200 deck all day. People, I've seen them sell for upwards of that, but it's the same thing. I don't. I guess I could ask more, but I won't. For some reason, I won't.
Like that number feels good to you.
That
400.
number feels fair.
Yeah,
it feels fair, and hopefully, it'll go to someone that's that's trying to build a collection, or someone that's really interested in Rodney Mullen and what he's done, and,
or cares about skateboarding.
Yeah, much more than just a ticketed item. But I've been known to ask people to leave my store anyways, and I don't know that's going to flat meltdown. But I've had guys walk into my store and be on their phone like checking eBay prices, and I'll be like, can't do that in here, man. Like, you got to go. Dude. And I'm like, I was just about to buy that. It doesn't matter. I'm not selling it to you, man.
Okay, dude, I got to ask you about that. I got a buddy of mine who owns a record store in Montebello called Record Jungle.
Okay.
And this guy, Andy, he goes to Japan. He gets Beatles records, crazy Godzilla records, like the soundtrack from like the original movie, all, Kiss records with the OBI, the Japanese stuff, and puts them out for $20. Vinyl, mint. And these are like $80 to $200 records all day, right?
He's a good man.
Yeah, and he's just like, dude, he goes, I just want it to be fun. I'm tired of everyone walking in with their phone in their hand and pricing, checking everything I have in stock, and then because they're buying it to flip it.
It's maddening.
They're not even like buying it for themselves or to have fun with it. And I asked him about that the other day. I said, how do you do it when, when you're behind the counter and you see people flipping and like, going on Discogs or whatever? He's like, it doesn't bother me no more. But he goes, and beginning it did, but I just let it go. He goes, but you know what? If people can't really have fun with my prices, then you got a problem.
Right.
Now, I see you 86 someone.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, man, I was at a swap meet.
Yeah.
Over the summer in Texas, and I saw a box of Star Wars stuff, and I'm looking through. There's some carded stuff, and I'm looking through it, whatever. And this guy comes up with a scanner, scanning, and he took probably like 4 of the better pieces, whatever. And some kid came by and he was looking at him. Oh man, I really wanted that. But the guy sold it instead of like selling it to the kid, he sold it to the guy because the guy said, well, I'll give you $10 more than you wanted for it. Like totally screwed the kid.
Right.
And at that point I was like, man, screw you, man. That's not fair. So I didn't buy anything from the guy. And so when I came back to the store, when I opened the store, it was like the same feeling, man. It's like, yeah, I could sell it to you and you can go flip it and make a few bucks. Or I could keep it for the guy that really wants it, that's been looking for it, that's going to enjoy it, maybe give it to his kid or something. So I'd rather do that. I'd rather be out the few bucks and know that I gave it to someone that really is going to enjoy it as much as I did.
That's a really good ideals that you have attached to your store. Because it seems like you actually care about the customer.
Well,
you want it to go to a good home.
Meltdown was like, man, you'll get over that collector's mentality eventually.
Yeah.
I said, when the minute I get rid of that mentality is the minute I'm out of business. I'd rather not do it. So
really,
yeah,
really. Now let's talk about the whole maddening aspect. I mean, not to dwell on it, but I mean, I find it. I mean, I don't own a shop, but me as a customer, I find it rude.
Yeah,
I ask people at record stores, like for instance, I go in and I'll see someone I know someone wants, and I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture, but I'll ask the guy, do you mind if I take a picture of a few things to send to my friend?
Right.
Just common courtesy.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, sure.
Right. Most times if it's like that, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Because I don't want to be that guy walking in going, taking in someone's shop. That's rude to me.
It is absolutely rude.
And then especially when like someone's flipping through your stuff with a phone and he's just trying to price it out and bogart it so he can make a few bucks on it.
The worst one, man, was this guy comes in, he's looking at some toys, and he's like, well, this corner's a little dinged. It's not worth as much. I said, that's why it's priced the way it's priced. He says, oh, all right. But, this other corner is bad. I said, dude, nothing's for sale. I said, if you're buying it because you're a collector, I understand you want like mint, this and that. But I see you on your phone, you're checking condition, because you want to resell it. And I'm not doing it, man. I just can't, honestly say, grade all my stuff for me and then try to get me to lower my price so that you can make extra dollars on it.
Because you know what? That's what they're doing. They're grading it all for you and then telling you that you need to lower your price.
Right. So then they can make a few bucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible. The worst part is like now everywhere you go, like, because, I'm a thrift store whore, man. There's a thrift store, I'm stopping. I'm on the freeway and I see a Goodwill, I'm stopping.
Let's see what they got going, right?
And I'll walk in there and there'll be dudes with the monster scanners on everything. Books, records, cassettes. They don't care. As long as there's a barcode, they're scanning it because it's for sale somewhere. And for me, it's like...
You mean with their phone, right?
Yeah. They have these attachments, that like read stuff in seconds. It's like they can go through an entire library in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
And for me, it's like, I know my stuff because I've been collecting it. I like it. And so what? It sells on eBay for $40 and someone's trying to charge me $45. I'm going to buy it. It doesn't matter. $5 to get something that I've been looking for, I want.
But if you really want it, you'll buy it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is that you should know what you're looking at. You should have an interest in it more than just dollars and cents. And it's not that way right now. But the shop itself is promoting that. And the way we're doing that back, even at Meltdown on their website now, as I'm reading through it, they give 10% to people that you ride Metro.
No way.
Yeah. So if you're on the Metro, you have a valid tap card, or you're an employee of Metro,
you get 10% off.
10% off.
So that goes for the same with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So if it's a non-consignment or a non-gallery item, like a regular book or a regular action figure that's not part of a consignment, you get 10% off by showing your Metro card.
That's cool, man.
And so on their website, they have links to like all the buses, local buses. They have links to like bus schedules. They have links to what the time of arrival for the red line is. And they have, it's really great. They show you where all like the bike racks are. And so Meltdown is really awesome. And so meeting Gaston, the guy that runs it, and kind of like vibing with him, he's totally like this thing where it's like, I want to have like a mall, but with all the coolest people in that mall that really care about what they're doing. So like the guy that sells screen shirts, or the guy that does the comedy, or the other guy that sells this, it's all guys that are really into what they're doing.
They're committed.
Yeah. And they're really about the community. So it was really a nice fit for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, okay, we talked about this, but I want to go more in depth. Now, we talked about skateboarding, Star Wars stuff. Okay, so I'm a huge Hoth fan.
Okay.
Okay, so like, do you have any Hoth battle stations right now?
Yes.
You know where the bridge blows off?
Yep.
Now, are there any in the box?
Yes.
No way. Two. Again, the box. Like, I remember I used to like take stuff out of the box and just stare at the box and try to mimic that.
Right.
You know?
The Hoth Planet, what we just recently pulled out of some boxes that we were going through was the micro minis.
Micro minis.
The little die-cast metal guys.
Yeah, they were real heavy, huh?
Super heavy, yeah. And they came with the whole, in the box, really nice, amazing looking stuff. But Hoth is like, for 81, was it? Like to have that vision in The Empire Strikes Back was like...
It's pretty dark, huh?
Yeah, pretty dark.
But it was so, I think that was 80. Yeah, 80.
Yeah.
80.
Yeah.
That was my favorite component to The Empire Strikes Back was the Hoth scenes. The AT-AT Walker, the Scout Walker, the Wampa, the Tauntauns, and that Hoth base. Yeah. So what's an asking price for a Hoth battle station in a box?
Well, a sealed one never opened.
Yeah.
I would assume like market retail somewhere maybe like $300.
Nice.
Opened one in the box with all the inserts, probably like $180.
Yeah.
And then
both are available at your store?
And then I have a loose one with no box that you pick up for like $45.
Killer.
So you imagine the box is worth almost more than the actual toy.
And that goes with what you were saying earlier, that the box means a lot to a lot of the people. Now, how about for the individual Star Wars figures? Like, I mean, loose or in the pack? In the package is always more.
A lot more. Huge amounts more. Huge amounts more.
Like, give me an example.
Okay, so 12 backs, which refers to the first 12 figures on the back of a card.
Yeah.
So there'll be 10 figures, and that's what is called a 10 back, because those are only 10 figures available. So you have a Luke with the yellow hair, 2 versions. There was a yellow hair and a brown hair.
With the white.
With the white.
Yeah.
And a little, the little
lightsaber in his wrist.
Pushed out of his wrist.
Yeah.
So a loose one you could pick up for maybe $20. Loose. In the package, 12 back, in almost any condition, upwards of 120, 140.
Easy.
Yeah, and a mint one, perfect, sealed, amazing, upwards of 500.
Wow. Now, question, for unopened Star Wars figures to be found and be mint, do you think that just comes from this different scenarios? Like maybe someone that worked for Kenner and had them in their storage?
A lot of things, usually sometimes employees will buy them when they're on closeout because Star Wars was super popular. They were waiting for it to come out. They had no figures when the movie was released.
That was the whole thing. There was no figures out. They were behind.
Toys. Yeah. So they did an early bird kit. So they give you this certificate and they would send you the figures when they were produced. All those sets, those sets, if you have one in the box, go for upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 for a set.
Wow.
But as far as now pushing forward to the popularity of them and where they're at now, as far as mint and stuff and finding them, I've run into collections all over the place. I've traveled, as far as Utah on a nightly run in my car because I heard some guy had carded figures for sale at a yard sale. And so I'll pack my wife up and get in the car. We're going to Utah. We're going to.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Take the 12-hour drive to be the first one at that yard sale and walk into a garage and literally just mint, pristine Star Wars toys. And your mind just is wow, how did you come? And they'll tell you, we bought them for Christmas for my boys. We never got around to giving it to them. Or I'd buy one for them to open and one to save. Or we had 2 kids and we'd buy two of each figure. And one kid didn't want them or he wasn't into Star Wars and he wouldn't open them. And they get tucked away. They just get tucked away.
Everything you could think of.
You can't imagine the stuff you run into.
So you've actually seen a Craigslist yard sale advertisement? Hey, tomorrow, Sunday, we're having a yard sale.
Right.
And it's we start at 8. And it's and you see it at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And you just say, come on, we're going.
We're going. Get in the car.
That's how spontaneous you are when it comes to Star Wars?
When it comes to toys in general, but Star Wars.
But those kind of.
But Star Wars is a particular place in my heart. It's it beats and I still hear Vader in me gurgling up sometimes. But, the last time was we went to Vegas. Left here at 11 o'clock, got there at 4 in the morning, parked outside the guy's house. He opens the door. He's like, hey, no early birds. I said, hey, man, I'm from L.A. I'm just sleeping. I'm waiting for you to open. He goes, what? I said, yeah, I cruised Craigslist looking for Star Wars stuff. He said, well, if you made that trip, let me get you a cup of coffee.
That's cool.
So he brought me coffee to the car, and we sat there drinking coffee. 7 o'clock, he opens the garage, and he had a box. He had a sealed box of 12 figures from Return of the Jedi. And they were the ones with the coins. So the last 17 figures ever made are known as the Power of the Force. And all the last 17 came with a gold coin.
I remember those.
And so in that series of 17 figures, there's one called Yak Face, which was the elongated face guy.
Yeah.
He's worth thousands. If you find one.
It's super rare.
Super rare. And he had one in the box. And I said, how much do you want for the box of stuff? He said, I'll take $100 for the box. I said, dude, do you know what's in this? He goes, yeah. I said, well, then $100 is kind of really good for me. He goes, well, you came out from L.A. You should be the first to have it. I just want to get rid of this stuff. I said, dude, it's worth a lot more than that. He said, no, it's okay. Take it. I can tell you really love Star Wars.
That's cool.
As I walk out with the Star Wars T-shirt and my wife walks out with the Star Wars pajamas because I dragged her out of bed to drive to Vegas. So, and you run into people. Oddly enough, the guy, I always give him the same speech. I'm a chef and I'm a collector and I'm in L.A. If you're ever out to L.A., let me buy you some dinner. Guy shows up. Out of the blue, shows up in Moss-Malo.
Really?
I bought him dinner.
How long ago was this?
This was right before Christmas, so it was in December, first part of December.
The guy from Vegas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Showed up. He was visiting family. Showed up, and I said, "Oh shit, you showed up." He goes, "I'm gonna buy you dinner. Let's have some tacos."
So that Yakmouth guy, he's worth a couple of grand.
It was a pretty good shape. He was worth about $1,800 to $2,000, but he's never gonna get sold.
It's too much.
No, it's just
You want it?
I've needed one for 20 years.
Right. So you're not gonna sell it.
Never gonna get sold. It'll
That's
get
cool.
pushed into the archives and One of my kids will eventually give it to their kid and they'll open it and break it, I'm sure.
That's cool, man. I can't wait to go. So when do you guys officially open?
We're pushing for the first part of February, so we're moving in now, and we'll be ready to rock and roll on the 3rd or the 4th.
And how much more space do you have?
A lot.
So you got a lot of wiggle room to add more stuff.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah. We have what is essentially like 10 4-foot cases that encompass the outer side of the wall, then an island, and then all the way to the ceiling. The ceilings are 20 foot, so
wow,
it'll be jam-packed all the way top to bottom.
Wow. Very
with
cool.
Craziness.
Now, let me ask you this. When it comes to your hours, is it going to be 7 days?
It's 7. Well, this is what the sweetheart of the deal is. You know, and my wife, Emmy, was like, dude, this is like a no-brainer. We're going to pay X amount of month for rent, and they're going to cover the labor because they already have built-in staff. So they're there anyway. So the shop is going to be open regular hours, 9 to I think it's 11 to 9. And then on Wednesdays, it's 10 to 10.
Wow.
And he's going to run it. You know, he's like, you just stock it full of stuff. We'll sell it for you. And the really cool thing about this, what happens at Meltdown is that there's a million other things going on. There's comedy night. They're starting to film some other stuff there. There's a comedy night. There's a writer's forum. There's acting classes. There's a million things that are happening at Meltdown. So there's always a constant flood of people. And so they're telling me, you know, if you want to bring in a band, you want to bring in some guys to sing, you want to do like a night where they play music, if you want to have like a makeshift like miniature toy show, if you want to do like a toy swap, if you want to do a toy club.
Anything
you want to do that brings people to this location.
Do it.
That's involved with doing really cool stuff. And it doesn't matter what, as long as it's really cool, do it. And so we have kind of carte blanche to really do some really amazing things. And so we're going to start planning our first thing, hopefully for April. The end of April, we're going to do a toy swap where it's not actually where we're going to sell toys. You're going to walk in, you can bring your stuff. We'll look at it and, you know, we'll talk about toys. We'll have like, you know, Rice Krispie treats and Kool-Aid and, you know, we'll turn to be 12 again.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Talking about culturing, you know, and showing even younger kids, like inspiring parents to bring their kids to see what it was like when they were a kid.
Yeah, there's nothing greater. I mean, a guy walks in with his kid and it's like, wow, I remember that. And now it's like you can sit there and talk with other dudes about growing up with playing with toys. And it's a really nice venue. It's a really great thing to do.
Oh, that's really cool. So, Robert, I want to thank you for coming on a second time. It's always great talking to you.
Love it here.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And, you know, I'm going to make sure to check out Screws.
Absolutely.
That's great. And it's right off the note, you know, you could take the number 2.
Right.
Coming from UCLA or downtown.
Right.
And it'll drop you off right in the front.
Right in front.
Very cool. And next time I need my Star Wars fix, if I need a Dagobah planet.
Let me know.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to sell one, let me know.
I'll let you know.
Because I would always bind.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eddie.
Listen to Skidrow.